If you're watching this, thank you. Also, if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I'm back for a quick review of Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episode 7, hard launch, soft landing. Okay, I will probably be back with some of these Trump picks, but it's stressing me out right now, so I just want to move on. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Ashley, Giselle, and Karen meeting up at Ashley's house. Okay, Karen's already, you could tell Karen was primed for their BS, and she came dressed. Okay, dressed. What does Cash Doll say? Look good while you doing it. All right. Sometimes you just got to check people. So they asked when the court date is it a trial or is it a hearing? She says, look, I can't talk about it. She done told y'all that. Y'all already know how Karen is, even if Karen could talk about it. Okay. There is nothing in Giselle or Ashley's individual history on this show or their history together with Karen. I mean, like Karen and Giselle individually, Ashley and Karen individually, that can make us believe they are concerned about Karen. Okay, they're not. So that preview with the prayer of Giselle outside the courthouse, miss me. Okay, Karen slayed, like I said, with the fashion, but we know Giselle didn't take no notes. Now, they brought up how Karen said that Mia went to rehab, and because Mia had said Karen needs rehab, okay? And so Karen brings up her opioid addiction, says she had this. Bravo pulled up the receipts of Mia saying it's herself. And somebody talked about it in the comments last week that she had gotten this video taken down, but Bravo apparently still has it, where she admitted that. And then she was talking about, chiropractic services and other forms of medicine. Yeah, but that's not what destroyed that opioid addiction, honey. You had to go through real rehab. And there are other forms of medicine for pain and that kind of thing, but miss me, okay? Because I'm not believing that either. Now, Karen bringing that up is why Giselle said she was deflecting, because she brought that up. I said, I don't know if I think that counts as deflecting, as much as I do think it counts as you defending yourself and your honor, and sometimes you got to throw it back, okay? And that's what she did. You can't be mad at that. Now, deflecting, however, is what she did to Giselle, okay? Because Jamal just got engaged. She said, I just want to check on you because Jamal just got engaged. I said, oh, Karen, let me tell you something, Giselle, that is your Achilles heel. And not because you used to be with him, but you've allowed yourself to be played twice by him, and that second time was absolutely unnecessary, and it seems to be what gets your gander, okay? So she said, I'm fine. I've always wanted Jamal to get married. She was like, preachers and politicians need to be married. People who overemphasize marriage, like preachers and politicians, the conservatives in politics, and the people who just insist that has to be, marriage is not for everybody. But I'm saying people who do, yes, they should be married. They should also be married to somebody they like and love, and it not be a business arrangement. Because it is very clear to me, not because I've even done that much as a rabbit hole, but this is the same chick who, when people were saying that she was sleeping with Jamal Bryant, who is now his wife, had made public posts saying people were accusing me of this, and I just had to keep my head up. And I was like, when all this came out. Anyway, and Giselle, I was thinking to myself, she said, because I need him to stay in the good graces of the people at New Birth. I would say it's hard for me to ever see New Birth as the house of the Lord. It's hard for me to see that. And I remember because Spelman had one of their graduations there one year, not the year I graduated, but I was helping. And it really looked like a mausoleum. It never set well with me anyway, because Eddie Long and that prosperity gospel, and I could tell he was gay. I mean, that stuff was already around. But anyway, I knew he was messing with little boys. Nevertheless, something about them has never set well with me. But for her to say he needs to be in good graces with the New Birth people, in other words, I want the New Birth congregation to be happy about what they're seeing, even if it is a show, so he can keep getting the money necessary to support her daughter's lifestyles, and hopefully her daughters will be supporting her as well. okay? And slipping that money to her. Because I'm sure there's a lot of things Giselle could say that she has not said. And I'm pretty sure that Jamal will kick in some money if push comes to shove. She wants it to stay that way. She needs a lifeline. So, it's about the money. Now, Giselle, you get to deflecting and lying too, okay? Because I could tell you were not comfortable with that. And for you to act like you wanted him to be married, nah, girl. Nah, girl. Yeah, that's probably what you were telling him that second time where you was like, oh, I thought you were going to ask my father for my hand in marriage and all this other stuff. When you seemed more into it than he was, baby girl. Okay? And I do think you probably said something like that to him, even though I have absolutely no proof. Okay? That y'all needed to be married. But the second time, you knew, that when y'all were fake dating, you knew what you were going to sign up for. And the second time, you knew it was going to be all about the money. And you was going to get a prenup to make sure of it. So anyway, apparently her saying, well, I expected it, which I knew was a lie. I saw when she gulped like that the first time in the confessional. But she got the news through her daughters. Then she goes on, because at that point I said, somebody's lying. Because she said, well, I was expecting, it just seemed weird. And for somebody who claims her and Jamal talk about everything under the sun, all right, she said her daughters were confused because they went to dinner with their father and came back. And this woman that went from his friend to his fiance just like that. Now, mind you, these girls are in college now. And they were confused. Okay? So there was a whole lot of lies and deceit just along that. So you found out from them. Jamal didn't tell you directly. Please stop trying to play defense for a team that you are not on. Trying to cover it up. Like, that's why I say it's your Achilles heel, because you insist on trying to pretend like you and Jamal still have a good kind of co-parenting relationship, whatever that looks like for you. But it's really giving, you spend too much time trying to cover up the pain, the hurt, the embarrassment, and the humiliation. And Giselle, the good thing is there are so many women, unfortunately, who know exactly how you feel or have a sense of it, but you are so mean and so hateful and do so much to hurt other people in their relationships. You will never be able to develop those friendships with people to help you, because that's how you set yourself up, darling. Anyway, so Stacey and TJ, so they had some time together because she has this nice new crash pad. I don't know if it's new, but it's nice. She says she wants them to do something special, so they paint pictures of each other. I like Stacey. I do. TJ, you're lame. Okay? She's telling you that divorce is almost done. Honestly, I understand why she's doing it the way she is. Because people tell their kids they're getting divorced when they made that decision. And I'm not necessarily judging that, because I don't know how that goes for small children. And I do know enough to know that kids whose parents are going through a divorce, they usually have all these questions like, well, one, why? You can't explain that to them. Well, what's going to happen? And people often tell their kids they don't know. I mean, when you teach, these kind of things come up, right? And they can't answer them. They can't answer those questions for their kids at that point. And so it's often this sort of looming feeling of the unknown. And it really takes a toll on, small kids. And TJ, you're a bitch. You are really trying to act like it's a flex to say, no, I'm not having sex with you. That's a flex for a woman. That's not a flex for a man. And it does not come off as cute. It does not come off as anything admirable. Now, maybe you would have found more success in finding a beard back in the height of the Bush era when everybody was just hating the gays and the mega churches were becoming the mega churches that hate gays and everybody should get married. And we have all these women walking around with gay husbands because they're the ones, who will do what they want them to do and all this other stuff, and they don't realize they're getting played anyway, or maybe they do and they don't care. Nevertheless, I just went, I was on a roll. Okay, so I feel like in the way he was acting, it was very feminine. If you're that devout, like I've said, you would not be dating a married woman. So stop playing with me, okay? You are gay, bi, whatever. You're not having sex with women. I can assure you that, and I do believe that much. And you are using Stacey and this show to help your whack-ass career as an actor. Moving on. Wendy's kids' graduation party. Okay, so one graduated from middle school, one graduated from pre-K. That's cute. Okay, All right. They go out to eat with Wendy's mother and her brother, but her brother is quiet. Okay. And I prefer Wendy's family to be quiet. I prefer Wendy to be quiet and off this show. Because I just don't, Wendy doesn't do anything for me. Nothing. I find her boring and annoying. So they're having escort going stuff or whatever. Wendy, for all your carrying on about what's appropriate and how to behave, and your daughter is eating things like escargot at the restaurant, you need to teach her how to act at the table, not screaming with her mouth wide open and stuff like an alligator. Like, come on. Kids should know better. And you didn't even correct her. Okay, so anyway, Wendy says that she wants her kids to grow up and be anything they want. She's talking to them. Her only requirement is that they get a master's degree. I said, Wendy, if you don't shut the fuck up, okay, you got all those degrees and still don't know what you want to do. Okay, you were bragging about being a professor. Even though you didn't get tenured and you want to pretend like you quit this job, then you wanted to be a commentator full time. We don't know what happened to that. Then you wanted to be a talk show host. Then you wanted to sell candles. You wanted to start a dispensary and help Eddie's business. All them degrees do not equal discipline and focus. And considering where education is going based on Donald Trump, who knows? And not to mention, your husband Eddie, I don't even know where that's coming from. You can become a lawyer and not have a master's degree. You can go to medical school and graduate and not have a master's degree. You'll just end up with a BA and a Juris Doctor. You'll end up with a BA and a medical degree. So, like, what are you talking about? What kind of requirement is that? You didn't say advanced education, and that's why it looks whack. It's one of those just having degrees for the sake of degrees. So, and that's my problem with it, because she basically told her kids they can't have their trust fund without it. So when the kids said, oh, it's a choice. if I don't take the trust fund, I don't have to do all this extra stuff. I don't blame them. Okay. And kids will grow out of that, but still. And then Wendy's mother's like, you giving kids choices. I don't believe in that. Now, to some extent, I'm with her. Okay. In terms of all of this, agency and all that business. No, kids need direction. But this is my thing. It's not clear to me how much Eddie works or how much she does outside of the show. So to say trust fund, I'm still looking at them kind of like, just say their savings account. Anyway, it just seems like too much for this show. And I know what it is to come from a family and to be raised by a mother who insisted on us getting the best possible education, however she could get it to us, whatever she had to sacrifice, she did. Because she had graduated from high school, she went to community college for a little bit and had to drop out and take care of her father. And she didn't get a chance to go back, and then she ended up going back on her own for the EKG stuff. And she's, my mother is really, my shero. Like, she really has done those. So I know this comes from a family where people are hard on you about grades in school. And all of us are accomplishing our own work. All of us graduated from college on time with honors, okay? None of us, despite the fact that my parents weren't cutting no checks, we were all still too afraid to let that happen. So anyway, however, it just seems like it was the way you use education to get attention and make a scene or several scenes on this show. You know how I said, like, Stacey, I know she's not the usual kind of person they would cast on a show like this. She would be on a different, maybe, franchise. Okay, but not on this one. Nevertheless, I think she is being her authentic self, and I think that's why it reads well for me and why I like her. And I'm a firm believer that even if you are the lamest fucking person on earth, I'm not saying that Stacey is, I'm just making a point. The lamest person on earth, be yourself. It always reads better because at least it's you. Because for people not to like you while you play a character that's not even true to you, that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, so it would be better if we saw like Wendy putting together, book clubs and kind of doing nerdy stuff on her own with like a group of friends or whatever, but not just the show of education. Because that's what it seems like. There doesn't seem to be a perpetual teaching of the love of learning. It's always kind of a performance when I see Wendy do it. And so even with all her degrees and she can't figure out which way is up, which way is down, and wants to be friends with the likes of Giselle and kiss the ass of people who don't like her, still says you got a lot of internal work to do. And it says that you also don't have discipline or direction. And so maybe that perpetual gaining degrees, hopefully degrees that will pay out so your mother can live a certain lifestyle, is bullshit. Okay? Because otherwise it's just a bunch of money wasted. So the mother is complaining about how she hasn't received her monthly allowance. I said monthly allowance. First of all, because her mother still look young enough to be able to work. Anyway, because Wendy had some $50,000 to $60,000 birthday party. I said that's one year's college tuition, or like, while we on it, since you brought it up, that is way too much for a party. But I say that for anybody. I'm sorry. And Wendy, miss us with this. In Nigerian culture, your parents raise you and then expect that later you'll take care of them. Wendy, that is almost every culture across the world. Okay? And just like almost in every culture across the world, there are parents who take advantage of it to the point where they siphon and zap money, energy, and time from their kids like their kids asked to be here. I'm the kind of person, I have started putting stuff in order anyway, because I don't want my mother to have to work past a certain age. I want my mother to always know she can come and stay with me, live with me, whatever is the case. But that to me is an honor to be able to do that for my mother, who has never asked for that. You know what I mean? So just miss me, okay? Because y'all are all so full of shit. Wendy is so full of it. I don't understand why people like her. So your mother also talks too much, and so do y'all, because y'all was talking way too much in front of these kids. And your mother, as far as I'm concerned, is the root of this drama with Eddie's family. And this drama is given the kind of thing that had in the neck of piss that we couldn't get fully to the bottom of, even though I knew Wendy was lying. Like your mama and your sister do your dirty work and create a situation that you're comfortable with. You don't want to bother with his family. But I'm not going to be the one that outwardly does it. I look like the victim. And I don't like that about you or your family. Y'all did not have to talk about Eddie's family so negatively. I'm not going to speak to them. I'm not going to do this. And you see them kids just kind of look and they take that in, which is only going to make them, a lot of times when you go against something in front of children, the only thing you do is reinforce it. That's what you do, unintentionally. And them kids are going to become more and more interested in their grandparents. I'm just going to bring out Holy Ghost fire. And I'm just sitting up here like, you are crazy. Where is Mia when she pointed at that crow and said, is that your mom? Mia, once in a while you good for something. And all the things, they just bring up all these things they've done. We only get a glimpse of your mother, Wendy, and I'm not checking for her, and I know she on some BS. So if your party gets ruined, your mama ruined it. So Jazzy has a thing for her guy or whatever. Everybody brings somebody except for like Giselle and Ashley. I don't really count Vivian, is that her name? The Nigerian kind of friend of the show. I guess to replace Boring Cherise. Y'all did not do a good job. Anyway, so everybody brings somebody except for Giselle and Ashley, who have the most to say about everybody else's relationship. Jazzy, honestly, I liked what you brought originally in the first few episodes, but you're also starting to give me, you're on just total BS. So when you called everybody together with that ghetto banging of a champagne glass like it was a triangle in middle school band, you said, I am so proud of, and you kind of hesitated, my 3-time Super Bowl champion. Not my man, not my fiance. That seemed to be an interesting choice of words. And it seemed like you were tiptoeing around something. It just, something about it. So nothing really happened other than Jazzy trying to pawn some young African coming to America looking guy on Giselle. All right. Kay got in Mia's face about lying about her current boyfriend being a drug dealer. And she says, well, not this boyfriend. And they were basically like, look, that can mess up his business. You saying something like that in public. She was like, okay, I'm sorry. Karen and Mia got into a back and forth over who's an alcoholic, who's an opioid addict. I don't even feel like going through that whole shebang. I hope Ashley's mother's health is getting better. Anyway, so then we get the major scene with Mia, Gordon, and Ink. Ink, what's your real name? If I find that his real name is something like Greg or Thomas, I'm going to be done. All right, so Gordon comes over and he makes it clear that he's talking to me about their kids, not Ink. Ink says, well, look, I'm a part of the kids' lives or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, Ink, that's strike two. Stay out of married people's business. Okay, I know the situation is weird, but stay out their business. Okay, so Gordon said, I told Mia I'm not okay with y'all's relationship and I don't want to shoot with you and her. I said, well, so much for the fourth wall. Apparently, Mia was sleeping with Ink when they were engaged and when they were married. It got a little messy for me in terms of the timeline. She got an abortion somewhere in the time frame. She got an abortion of the pregnancy she had because she had slept with Ink. I'm like, you going around sleeping with these people unprotected, girl. Anyway, so Ink says, well, that's news to me. And Gordon was like, oh, you didn't know that? I said, and Mia was quiet and shut down. I said, ooh, it's true. You were married to somebody that had an abortion? And not for y'all's baby? Ooh. Gordon, you are living proof of what happens when a man leaves the wife that has taken care of him and been there for him, and how your life is now messed up because of it. Because I imagine his older kids probably don't have nothing to do with you after you hurt their mama like that. Gotta be careful how you treat people. That's just pointing that out. So having a man around who thinks he's the real father of your son, and I'm not going to say even a boy's name because I feel like everybody's being irresponsible with that. And it's so public. I'm telling you, Mia, whether it's true or not, it's going to fuck that boy up. It's going to play with his head. Because I hope you don't think them kids went in there, cut on the TV, and didn't listen to nothing going on out there. I hope you think that. Okay? You cannot be in two places at once. But also, even if Ink is there, telling him that Gordon is not his father, even, let's just say it does turn out to be true, which I don't think because of the way she got pregnant. Like, how do you explain that to your son? This man that you've been living with for 11 years is not your real father. And all this time, you've been living in a house thinking he was your father. He wasn't your father. Even though I was married to him, this guy who I just brought in that you think is my friend is your father. Like, girl, what the hell? And we can go on and on and say women, always get the heavy blame or whatever. But this is, Mia fucking deserves it. And as a mother, you should be protecting your children. Simply getting them out of the house with Gordon, who's dealing with kind of bipolar, depressive episodes. And it sounds like at times got physical with Mia. Yes, is the right move. Not by hurrying up and bringing in another man because of your insecurities and because you need people around you all the time. You are fucking up. And you're taking innocent children with you. And that shit's not cool. Anyway, I'm sure Gordon did put Mia through hell. I don't doubt that at all. But Mia, the adultery is one thing. Okay, one problem in the marriage that plenty of people have gotten divorced over. The other most important thing are those 2 kids you had with Gordon. And this going on is going to hurt them. And not just the son in question, but his sister. And your older son. So Ink didn't like the fact that she was, once Gordon left, because Gordon was like, I'm not doing this, and walked out. Ink didn't like the fact that she said she was concerned about his mental health. He was like, that's not your problem anymore. And she was like, well, it kind of is. Translation, she may or may not sleep with Gordon when she's bored. And maybe Gordon's family's about to give him a lump sum of the business they just share, and she wants some of it. Anyway, that's all I got. And I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.